In the heart of northern Nigeria, in a small, vibrant Hausa village known as Gidan Dabo, life was a blend of the past and present. The modern world had seeped in, from mobile phones to motorcycles that zoomed along dusty paths. But for me, that week was about going back a century, living as if it were the year 1920. I was curious, excited, and admittedly a bit nervous about stepping away from modern conveniences. Armed with only a journal, a few changes of clothes, and a plan to rely on the wisdom of the elderly in the village, I embarked on this peculiar journey. Day 1. Disconnecting from the present. I woke up to the crowing of roosters and realized it was time to part with my phone. Handing it over to Aunty Zainab, a kind-hearted woman who had agreed to keep it for the week, felt like parting with a piece of my soul. "Wallahi, you'll be fine," she chuckled. In 1920, people had better things to do than stare at these small screens. My first task was to fetch water. In 1920, there was no running tap. I'd watched women balance buckets on their heads, walking with effortless grace. But I had never attempted it myself. My attempt was clumsy at best, and by the time I returned with only half a bucket, drenched in sweat, I could hear the children giggling from behind the baobab tree. "It's okay," called out Hajara, an elderly woman known for her storytelling. "The first day is always the hardest." In the afternoon, Hajara began teaching me how to grind millet on a large stone slab, a rhythm as ancient as the village itself. Each push and pull felt like I was summoning the spirit of the past, grounding me in a simplicity I had long forgotten. Day 2. Cooking without gadgets. Modern cooking had always been a rush for me. I realized how much I had relied on the convenience of a gas stove and a microwave, and now I was expected to cook over an open flame, using wood and charcoal. That morning, I joined a group of women who laughed as they stoked the flames, bantering about the day's gossip and family news. Fatima, a young woman about my age, taught me how to make tuwo shinkafa, a popular local rice dish. As the rice thickened, we used a heavy pestle to mash it into a dough-like consistency. The heat was intense, the smoke searing my eyes, but the experience of cooking together, of sharing labor, felt heartwarming. As I finally tasted the tuwo I had helped prepare, I realized it wasn't just food. It was a testament to patience and skill. We ate with our hands, laughing over stories and savoring the taste of communal cooking. Day 3. Storytelling and moonlit nights. In Gidan Dabo, storytelling wasn't just for children. It was a communal affair. That night, we gathered under the stars where the Milky Way stretched out like a cosmic tapestry. Hajara, the keeper of countless tales, began recounting stories of ancient times, of kings, warriors, and enchanted forests. Her voice wove magic into the night air, and I was drawn into another world, where bravery and wit were the only tools for survival. The children, wide-eyed, leaned forward as she narrated the tale of Don Kaka da Korama, a cunning young man who tricked a giant fish to save his village. As the story unfolded, I felt a thrill of wonder and unity that the digital age rarely afforded. This was the village's social media, a timelessness network of shared stories and collective memory. Day 4. Market day without money. On the 4th day, I experienced the bustling village market, an array of colors, scents, and sounds unlike any shopping experience I'd ever had. Here, the concept of bartering was still alive. With no cash on me, I had to trade items I had carried along, soap and small bags of spices. I swapped them for fresh vegetables, a handful of okra, and even some dried fish. Negotiating without fixed prices felt strange at first, but the bartering brought a unique sense of satisfaction. I felt a connection with each person I traded with, as though we were participating in an unspoken trust. Later, I walked back, my arms heavy with the day's gains, feeling like I had just conquered a mountain. Day 5. Learning traditional crafts. One of my objectives for the week was to learn a traditional craft, so I sought out Malam Adamu, an old man known for his expertise in weaving and dyeing fabric. His fingers were worn with age, but his movements were steady and practiced. I watched as he dipped fabric into indigo dye, creating intricate patterns that looked like they'd been drawn by a master artist. Under his guidance, I attempted to dye a small piece of cloth. The indigo dye seeped into my hands, a reminder of the tactile connection between the craftsperson and their art. "We don't rush," Malam Adamu advised, his voice thick with wisdom. "Art takes its time, just like life." When I looked at the final piece, a simple yet beautiful scarf dyed in swirling blue patterns, I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment I hadn't expected. It was a testament to patience, a memory I could carry with me beyond this week. Day 6. Wrestling with nature. I spent the 6th day immersed in farm work. We woke early, even before the first glimmers of dawn, and made our way to the fields. Hajara, who seemed tireless, handed me a hoe and encouraged me to work alongside her. Digging through the hardened earth was no easy task, and I quickly gained a newfound respect for the farmers who relied on their hands and the mercies of the seasons for survival. The work was exhausting, but there was a calm satisfaction in seeing the neat rows of planted millet, like tiny promises of sustenance. I was tired, dirty, and sore, but for once I didn't mind. The soil on my hands felt grounding, as though I were rediscovering my roots. Day 7. Reflecting on the journey. On the last day, I joined the villagers in preparing for a small celebration. We cooked, sang, and danced to the rhythm of drums as laughter echoed through the village. There was no electricity, no speakers blasting music, only the raw energy of a shared experience. As the night deepened, I found myself staring at the village, lit only by the moon and a few oil lamps. The simplicity of the scene brought a wave of nostalgia, even though the week wasn't yet over. The experience had shown me a life slower, rooted in community, connection, and tradition. It wasn't a week free from hardship, but it was full of moments that reminded me of what truly mattered. In the morning, I would return to the world of technology and constant movement, but I knew a part of me would always remember this village, this glimpse into the life of 1920. And even though the world had moved on, in places like Gidan Dabo, echoes of the past still lingered, preserved in the hearts of its people.